This election is already proving to be way too much, and it's only been 3 days. I hope this doesn't go on any longer, but it's likely going to go on for quite some time with these lawsuits. There's going to be more and more. Trump is going full on lawfare. And to be fair, I think he should. I think Joe Biden should take any legal avenue he should. I think we want to make sure, as I've said 50 billion times today, we get clean and accurate results. However, there are some other ramifications of this election. Notably, this could be the end for Speaker Pelosi. You see, many Democrats are not a fan of Speaker Pelosi's failed leadership, and I'm starting to get excited. I'm thinking maybe if we get rid of Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, we might actually see some changes in the House that could be beneficial to everyone. You see, Republicans flipped 8 seats. Democrats flipped 2, giving Republicans so far a net gain of 6. It's a bad day for Democrats, but because of this, some Democrats see an opportunity to vote for someone else to be Speaker of the House. I think that would be an excellent start. I'm no fan of Joe Biden. And if Trump loses, well, we'll all move on, I suppose. There'll be a lot of people who won't accept it. I get it. But I think it's we got to be mature about these things. I'm feeling pretty good. How about you? If the GOP maintains the Senate, I'll be happy with that. If they lose the presidency, I guess that sucks. And then if the House ends up removing Nancy Pelosi, assuming we don't get someone like, Speaker AOC or whatever. I don't know how speakership ends up working. This might be a really good thing. Not ideal for anybody, but acceptable. We can all shrug instead of tearing each other's heads off, right? I got to tell you, if it turns out that these gains by the Republicans get rid of a Speaker Pelosi, we end up getting like a moderate Democrat who's actually going to do their job and not just scream orange man bad, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Here's a story from the Daily Mail. They say, Nancy on the brink. Democrats are now plotting to oust Pelosi as Speaker after the House majority shrunk amid her refusal to do a COVID deal as AOC-led squad circles the embattled leader. If Ocasio-Cortez leads a charge that takes the speakership away from Pelosi, I will clap. AOC, please. I call upon you to get anybody. As I said, though, I wouldn't be too enthused by a Speaker AOC, but if she helps get someone else to be the Speaker of the House, I say Democrats went into Tuesday night expecting to pad their majority in the House by marching deeper into President Trump's territory, but instead Republicans made gains. Already 2 centrist Democrats in the House say they are contacting colleagues to round up support for House Democratic Caucus Chairman Hakeem Jeffries, a top Pelosi lieutenant, for Speaker in the next Congress, according to The Hill. Several moderate House Dems only won tough re-elections after vowing not to back Pelosi for another term as Speaker. Bravo. And they view Jeffries as a potential establishment leader who could garner support from Rep. Ocasio-Cortez's powerful squad of progressives. Here's what we need to happen. We need someone who's going to be moderate, take the speakership, and we need them to say, we are done with the ranty, orange man bad culture war style of politics. You know what? Trump may lose, and a lot of people may be upset about that. But Pelosi may lose too. And that's a good first step, I guess. It's kind of a shrug, right? Well, I'll kind of take it. One of the biggest problems I think we've had is that we've had Democratic politicians who, as I've long said, they campaigned on moderate Democrat policies. I was all for that. I was like, thank you. Come in. Let's get back to business. Nancy Pelosi just hates Donald Trump too much. I guess with Donald Trump currently on the ropes, then, maybe Pelosi is going to leave. Maybe we'll get someone else. Maybe it won't be so much about orange man bad anymore. Kind of would be nice. Although I'm really concerned about a Biden presidency, considering what he did in the previous administration. I think he'll be constrained by the Senate. I got to say, it's kind of a lukewarm scenario. Nobody really wins, but Republicans made decent gains. Like everybody kind of takes a little and loses a bit, I guess. Whatever. That's all I can really say. He bridges moderates and progressives better than anyone else. And most importantly, he's not Nancy Pelosi, one Democratic lawmaker told The Hill of Jeffries. He's the only one prepared and positioned to be Speaker. Publicly, Jeffries has shot down any notion of seeking the top leadership role, remaining loyal to Pelosi and saying he is focused on retaining his current job. The Speaker is chosen by a majority vote of the entire House, meaning that in theory, a handful of centrist Democrats could force the party's hand in the case of a slim majority by threatening to side with Republicans. Yes! I'll tell you what, these moderate Dems who promised to do the right thing and then went full on for impeachment and wasted all of our time, if they come out and side with Republicans, it will be a glorious day. We need bipartisanship. We need to bring cooperation back. Let's get something moving. However, it's unclear whether Ocasio-Cortez's powerful faction would back Jeffries for Speaker after she previously threatened to back a primary challenger against the fellow New York Democrat in the 2020 election. All 4 members of the squad won re-election on Tuesday, and the faction added 3 new progressive allies in districts in Missouri and New York. Pelosi was notably quiet on Wednesday regarding her party's shrinking margin in the House. She didn't directly address her losses in a letter to her Democratic colleagues, aside from calling the election challenging. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, a California Republican, said the erosion of the Democratic majority could threaten Pelosi's grip on the Speaker's chair. I know the vote on the floor is difficult for Speaker. I know there was a number of people who did not vote for her the last time, McCarthy said at a press conference Wednesday, alluding to Democratic defectors 2 years ago. And as our numbers continue to grow, I think at the end of the day, no matter where we end up, we'll be able to have a very big say or even run the floor when it comes to policy, McCarthy predicted. This is going to be great. Look, man, a Democrat majority in the House is not ideal because of Section 230, a lot of policy issues that I'm concerned about. More importantly, I think the bigger issue is, are we going to get culture war garbage? Are we going to get policies like the Green New Deal that make no sense? Or now, are the Democrats going to be put in a position where the moderates who won are forced to negotiate? This is what we've needed all along. I'm down for it, man. Normalcy, like negotiation, compromise, simmering down of tensions. This is kind of an outcome that I think no one really expected. Now, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. We may still end up with Speaker Pelosi and her ranting lunacy as she rips up speeches and complains. Look, they talk about how bad Trump was. Biden and Pelosi have done similarly. I think we need to just get rid of all the incumbents at this point. You know, I don't know who's going to win, Trump or Biden. I think it would be fair to say I like Trump's Middle Eastern peace agreements. I like withdrawing of troops. And I think it's fair to give him another term. If he ends up losing, I think Biden is worse. I think ultimately these crony establishment people just get them all out. I tell you what, there was a point where I defended Pelosi. I kid you not. You may remember the videos. I was like, hey, it's not so bad. You know, no, I got a call from a progressive trying to primary Pelosi and I donated. I was like, look, I don't agree with a lot of your policies, but I think many of us agree that Nancy Pelosi is really, really bad, really bad. She hurt the Democrats a lot. And all these, you know, leading the impeachment charge. Come on. You get these moderate Democrats who came into the House and then they just said whatever she wanted and just did. That's ridiculous. Man, I hope these people grow a spine. Pelosi led the House with 232 seats compared to Republicans' 197 going into Election Day. But it now appears that GOP will have somewhere north of 200, holding a solid minority with more power than they've had in the last 2 years. The Democratic leader, along with chairwoman of the House Democrats arm, Rep. Sherry Bustos of Illinois, predicted a sunny outcome for Democrats Tuesday, claiming they would defend the 2018 gains and flip districts previously thought to be in safe Republican territory. Well, she was wrong. Check this out. The Republicans flipped 8 seats, gaining 6, and the Democrats flipped 2, a net gain for the Republicans of 6 seats. It does not seem like the Republicans are going to take the majority back, but it seems like, all in all, some good news. And interestingly, we did have, we are seeing a lot of Republicans who are running for Congress. We had a bunch of Republicans retire. This is one of the reasons I think Democrats were able to make more gains. Established crony Republicans have retired and have been replaced by younger, more enthusiastic, more populist Republicans. I like this. That I believe that woman, the gun woman, what's her name? Boebert. I don't know what. Let me see if I can find which district she's in. Lauren Boebert won. She won in Colorado District 3. That's awesome. 51.3% of the votes. She seems more like a regular American who wants to get in and make some changes and do the right thing. I hope that's exactly what she does. Because the same as I said, if we see these moderate Democrats come in and they can put some pressure on the Republicans and they can put some pressure on the progressives, it'd be a good thing. I'll say the same thing to Republican populists who are coming in. I expect them to do their duty and help lead this country. Congress has a terrible approval rating, man. And I blame Nancy Pelosi for it. I blame her for basically all of it. Now, what you got to understand is that approval for Congress is always going to be low because you've got AOC, for instance. When you ask people, like, how do you feel about Ocasio-Cortez? Well, most people don't live in her district. They're not going to like what she does. And you're going to get half of the country just not agreeing with her because they're not urban liberal progressives. That, I think, is normal. But I do think that Nancy Pelosi has been a disgrace. I think she is well past her she needs to not be speaker anymore. I don't think that she should even be elected, but the people of San Francisco keep electing her. Fine, whatever. But I think it's time to get a different Speaker of the House. And I look forward to some kind of rotation in politics. So, we'll see how things play out. Trump still has a path to victory. It's looking tighter and tighter every day. And it seems like it might be a Biden win. I tell you what, I'll say it for the 50 billionth time. We'll investigate claims of fraud. And let's just make sure that this country survives to see another day and everyone chills out. But that involves doing something about the riots. And that's on Democrats for now. I'll leave it there. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes. Stick around, and I will see you all shortly.